What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from Revolution Brewing, and they're out of Chicago, Illinois, and this is their Ryeway to Heaven, and this is a part of their Deep Wood series, and this is the 2022 release. So they're calling this one a rye ale aged in rye bourbon barrels. It comes in at 15% alcohol by volume, 25 IBUs at the time of review. This can is approximately 4.5 months old. I'm gonna give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a good friend of mine and viewer of the channel, Ross, for hooking me up with this beer. So big thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies that Ross hooked me up with, and I was super pumped to see him include this one in the beer mail because I've been saying it for like the past 6 months on the channel, but I love rye beers. I want to see more rye beers, and this is rye beer heaven, because this is a rye ale aged in rye bourbon barrels. Like, come on. And it's Revolution, which we know Revolution, they do fantastic stuff with their barrel program, and I can't wait to get into this one. Not much is said on the can about this one. It just says softly sweet silken sipper. So yeah, 4 S's. Anyway, we're gonna crack this one open, get in the glass, and see what we got going on here. One of my favorite rye beers of all time, especially barrel-aged rye beers, is Rye on Rye from Boulevard. I'm hoping this is just as good, if not better. We will see. So yeah, it's looking like a imperial rye ale, I guess you would call it, in rye bourbon barrels. Pour the entire thing because this is my one and only beer of the day, and I'm hoping it's delicious, and I want to sip on this one for like the next hour. That's what I want to do. I want to enjoy every second of it. A little bit of a cheat there, not much, so I couldn't really taste anything. Anyway, yeah, that's beautiful. It has like a deep mahogany, almost rust kind of color. You really can't see anything through it. A finger of a straight on tan colored head. Could even say like a caramel, light caramel. Alcohol sheets everywhere, a little bit of a swirl. Yeah, they're just, wow. That's crazy. Like, it's crazy. It's probably not gonna come off on camera because, you know, my camera's not that good. Just use my phone, but it's crazy. Those alcohol legs are definitely sheets. They're curtains, they're drapes. They're insane. Let's get a nose. I was so happy that Ross sent this one my way just because, again, I love rye beers. Yeah, it has the peppery, like rye bourbon, like you get like a black pepper, a white pepper, just a spiciness from it. If you like rye bread, I love rye bread. It's just like that concentrated for me when you're talking about rye ales or like even like rye bourbon or rye whiskey. But then the base of this is kind of like barley wine, old ale-esque, so a ton of like caramelized sugar, sweeter, sugary notes. You could say caramel, you could say toffee, molasses. In that realm, it's unmistakable. Brown sugar. Yeah, so you're getting the base, you know, rye spice. But on top of that, you're just getting a great base of sweet caramelized sugars. And then there's like this rye whiskey, rye bourbon that is peppery, white pepper, black pepper. It's almost like I can smell like the caraway seeds. There's a nice vanilla tinge probably from the barrel. Not straight vanilla. I'm not really getting oak, just more vanilla than anything. 15%. I wouldn't tell you on the nose. Like, I know this is a barrel-aged beer and it's bigger, but there's no fucking way I would at any point say this is 15%. It's like a sweet, like, a lot of times I say dark cherry here, but I'm not. I'm going to say like more like a Bing cherry. Maybe maraschino, sweeter, a little bit of like a slight tart kind of quality. A slight umami kind of scent too that I just got. I could probably sit here and sniff on this for the next 5-10 minutes and pick out a bunch of other stuff, but like my mouth's watering, I want to drink it, and I don't want to make the review 25 minutes long. Anyway, cheers to everybody. Thanks again to Ross. What the fuck? I'm going to say this right now. All my Chicago friends, all the viewers of the channel from Chicago, I fucking love you guys. I also hate you. And I say this in the nicest way possible because you can get this. You can get Hop Butcher. You can get Half Acre. There are so many great breweries in Chicago, but to me, Revolution, from what I've had, is probably in the top 3 in terms of barrel programs in the U.S. they just nail it more often than not. And the reason why I say I hate you guys, but I really don't. I love you guys. I always appreciate the comments on the Chicago beers that I review. Shit like this is just, like, my brain can't comprehend how good this beer is. And there's releases like this all the time from Revolution. It's crazy. Anyway, go back in for it. That's it. This is, I'm going to say this right now. You can just probably stop watching the review. Who the fuck care what I think? It's 5/5. This is a 5 out of 5. This is everything. This is, I think, the second 5 out of 5 I've given already this year. This is, without question, me personified when it comes to beer. It's barley wine, old ale-esque, but with a ton of rye, and then rye bourbon barrels, rye whiskey barrels, whatever you want to say. This is just me. This beer is me, and this is what I want. And I wish I could get something like this regularly here in the Buffalo, New York area. Body on this one, maybe slightly thin. I don't give a shit. It's like low to medium full body is 15%. I can see people calling it thin. Again, I don't care. It's not a detriment to my experience with this beer because, like, everything else is fantastic. The mouthfeel, it has a smoothness to it. It's moderately carbonated. It's nice. Body and mouthfeel are nice. The flavors are what is just like making my brain kind of break right now. Front of the palate, the rye hits. And the cool thing about the rye is it hits me in stages. Like right at the tip of the tongue, I get like a rye spice, almost caraway seed-esque. Passes through. I'm getting caramel, toffee, brown sugar. There's also, a little bit of molasses. There's this nuttiness too, and a light smoke character. Very light, but it's there, right? It's all at the front of the palate. I imagine a lot of that's from the malt. Could be some from the barrel as well. That's what hits me at the front of the palate. Then it continues on through, and I get a little bit of that, more of a maraschino, like sweet cherry. Maybe a little bit of like a fig. There's definitely there's also like stone fruits. Outside is just the cherry. Like a darker stone fruit. 2/3 of the way through the palate, the barrel hits. And again, the rye pops in for a second time. But it's rye whiskey, it's rye bourbon. So it's like this peppery, like white pepper, black pepper kind of bourbon tone. And the vanilla hits. I'm not really getting oak in here. I'm getting more vanilla from the barrel, and then the bourbon itself. It's beautiful, and it just pairs so well with the base malt that it's me again. It's me. This is what I want. Then it finishes with this nice semi to full on dry kind of finish, with a mild bitterness, but it's so dry that it works great. But the dryness is in conjunction with, again, a rye spice on the finish. So the rye hits me at the forefront, 2/3 of the way through the palate, and then I finish. 3 times it pops in specifically from what I'm trying to decipher on the palate, and that is cool in itself. 15%, is this a big beer? Yeah. Is it 15%? If I was doing this blind, there's absolutely zero chance that I say this is 15%. At the most, and this is me stretching, I would say 13, but I would probably guess around 12. Honestly. So it hides the alcohol well for a 15% beer. It's so complex. It's sweet, and it is a sweeter beer, but that dryness really helps out. Where this is a sipper, it's kind of like, a spirit that you're drinking that that's sweet. That might be whatever, 40% but it's not cloying. It doesn't get in the way. There's no adjuncts here to put it over the top, which is great. This is just a rye ale and rye bourbon barrels, and I fucking love this beer. And yeah, I'm done. There's not much more to say about this one. It's fucking amazing. And this is, they release so many different barrel-aged beers that I'm sure a lot of them would get a 5 out of 5 for me. But this is the best beer I've had from them recently. Their VSOJ, probably the best beer I've had from them, period. I know they released a double barrel variant of that at some point. If anybody out there has an extra can they want to send my way, that would be cool to review. But like, this beer is just me in a nutshell, and I love every single second of it. So Ryeway to Heaven, part of their Deep Wood series, and this is the 2022 variant. I have absolutely no issues giving this a 5 out of 5 because I already gave it a 5 out of 5, and that's what this beer is a 5 out of 5. And for you, it might not be. It might be, a 4 out of 5, it might be a 4.5, but this is me. This sings to me. I don't know what song it's singing, but it's something that I love. So huge thanks to Ross for this one. Price point and availability, I know a lot of these are like $40 a 4-pack, $45 a 4-pack. I would easily pay $12 for that can, no questions asked, dollar per ounce. I would pay up to $15 for that 12 fluid ounce can. Like, if the 4-pack was, $48 or $50, I'd pay it. Some people might be like, you're stupid. I'm not smart. I've said this before. I'm not an intelligent individual. You have watched the reviews. You've seen my limited vocabulary. I am not intelligent. But I would easily pay $12 to $15 for that 12 fluid ounce can. So if it's cheaper than that, awesome. If not, it's still great value. And it's Revolution. I don't think a beer like this gets great distribution. You probably got to go to the brewery, maybe in and around Chicago. If this shows up in Ohio or Indiana or any other, maybe Michigan, some Midwestern states, I got to take a trip to Ohio and just find some place that has a lot of Revolution, just stock up, buy multiple 4-packs, because this is going to be a longer review. Typically is when I fall in love with a beer and I give it a 5 out of 5, but I hope you can understand that this beer is me and I love everything about it. So if you've had this beer before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. Have you had a better rye beer from them? I know I think they did a Bossway rye or something like that. They just released so many barrel-aged beers at this point, I lose track. But they are one of the best. They have one of the best barrel programs, period, probably in the world. And I just wish I would have lived in Chicago for Revolution and Hop Butcher alone. Outside of that, I don't give a shit. There's great breweries in Chicago outside of Revolution and Hop Butcher. What I'm saying is, if I just could have those two breweries, I'd be set. Just absolutely set. So once again, Ross, I cannot thank you enough for these. He just threw these in as extra. He gave me he sent me the Bourbon County Old Fitzgerald 2-year-old barley wine. And then he threw in 2 extras, this and the half-acre Benthic, and 2 awesome extras. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much, Ross. Thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. I'm gonna go drink the rest of this and enjoy every single second, but I'm gonna probably sip on this over the next hour. I went a little ham here in the review, but I want to kind of slow it down. This deserves to be respected in baby sips. Anyway, to the next one. Cheers.